Tomb Raider Underworld serves as the third and final entry in the Legend trilogy. Underworld follows archaeologist adventurer Lara Croft as she searches for Mjolnir, an an artifact key to entering the realm of Helheim, while confronting adversaries from her past. Gameplay features Lara navigating levels set across the world through platforming, fighting enemies, and solving puzzles to progress. Production of Underworld began in 2006 following the release of Tomb Raider Legend and was developed in parallel with Anniversary, which came out in 2007. The scenario was co-written by director Eric Lindstrom and series co-creator Toby Gard. Guard left Crystal Dynamics the following year. The gameplay was redesigned around a principle of Laura's abilities with her actions created using motion capture for the very first time. A new game engine was created for the project, with the team having troubles transitioning onto next generation hardware and staff shortages due to production on Anniversary. So announced in January 2008 for next gen hardware, it was delayed into November and also announced for then current generation hardware. Xbox 360 exclusive downloadable content was released in 2009. So, it concludes the Legend trilogy, following Legend and Anniversary, with a focus on Norse mythology and Lara's search for Mjolnir. While it was praised for its ambitious scale and atmospheric environments, it is often remembered as a miracle release due to its extremely troubled development, which ultimately led to a full franchise reboot in 2013. My favorite reboot of the whole entire franchise, in my opinion. The trilogy, the survival trilogy, which introduced me to this Tomb Raider franchise. Of course, along with Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider movies and the one Alicia Van Kander, Alicia's Tomb Raider movie. But this game got a lot of mostly positive scores on PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360, but were harshly critical for the broken versions on older hardware. Because of the critics have criticized the next gen leap. This was the first game in the series built from the ground up for then modern consoles. Critics loved the scale of the levels, particularly the sprawling underwater temples in the Mediterranean and the lush jungles of Thailand. Lara's actions were created using motion capture, having her climbing making her climbing and acrobatics look significantly more fluid and realistic than previous entries. Atmosphere and story, the darker, more somber tone was well received by those who felt Legend was too lightweight. However, the conclusion to the Amelia Croft subplot was polarizing, with some fans finding it underwhelming and cringy. So breaking down each of the platforms' performance, whichever platform you played this game on, PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3, all was considered the standard high quality versions, praised for its stunning graphics and deep exploration. The Nintendo Wii was criticized for simplified puzzles, minimal combat, and a significantly shorter length than the console versions. And PlayStation 2, oh, Jesus Christ, PlayStation 2 was widely panned as an embarrassment. It was a bastardized version with missing features, ugly graphics, and game breaking bugs. Good thing, it's a great thing I did not play this game on a PlayStation 2. I played it on my Xbox 360. But anyway, there were some common criticisms with Underworld for getting into them. There were some haywire camera, of course. The fucking camera. Almost every review mentions the camera as the game's biggest enemy. It frequently zooms, pans, or tilts of its own accord, making precision platforming much harder than necessary. There are, of course, some occasional traditional video game bugs and glitches. The game was notoriously rushed to meet a holiday deadline. This resulted in frequent clipping issues where Lara would get stuck inside walls or fall through floors. There were some clunky combat. Whilst the transversal was improved, the combat system was described as dodgy and unrefined compared to contemporary action games like Uncharted. By the way, maybe one day in the future down the line, I will do a breakdown, not a review, but more of a breakdown of the Uncharted video game franchise. So stay tuned for that. Maybe that's a question mark. Uncharted is a question mark. So, the 2026, modern context update in January 2026, the Underworld storyline was has been seen as a resurgence in popularity due to several new announcements. Sacred Artifacts comic, a new four-issue miniseries from Dark Horse Comics, released in January 2026, serves as a direct sequel to the comic serves as a direct sequel to this game, Underworld, following Lara after the destruction of Croft Manor. And there's also the unified timeline. Crystal Dynamics has announced that the upcoming game's Legacy of Atlantis, which will come out this sometime this year, and Catalyst, which will come out next year, will unify Lara's history, effectively making the events of Underworld canon alongside the newer survival trilogy. So I guess it's all combined, the survival trilogy and the Underworld trilogy as well. So there is that. But anyway, yeah, so overall, all in all, I mostly enjoyed this game. I love the environments. It's beautiful, breathtaking. Playing this game on the Xbox 360 myself. I love the environments, the story, the puzzles, the exploration, the graphics, and the less linear style of gameplay. But yeah, there's that, the goddamn camera and the combat system was just really poor and could have been dealt better. It sold below expectations, though ultimately went on to sell over 3 million copies. I can't say the same for the previous entries worldwide, and it was the final Tomb Raider title published by Eidos Interactive prior to its 2009 acquisition and rebranding by Square Enix, following Underworld. Crystal Dynamics rebooted the series a second time with the subsequent game releasing in 2013, the beginning of the Survival trilogy, my favorite. The upcoming Tomb Raider Catalyst, like I said, which is planned to be released in 2027, will serve as a sequel to Underworld while also unifying the previous continuities into a single timeline. All of it will be connected. The events of, the events of the Underworld, the Legacy, you know, trilogy, and the Survival trilogy will all come together in Catalyst coming out next year. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to my thought, my breakdown, I should say. I'm so used to saying my review, my thoughts. It's not really my review, my thoughts. It's a breakdown of pretty much all the reviews and the gameplay mechanics, and giving you guys some insight to, the future of the franchise of the Tomb Raider series. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have to say. And please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe, because that will help me and my YouTube channel out a lot. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.